Okay, Kevin, thanks for joining me today. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to go through a little bit of how I felt about the lesson, and then give you some time to give me some debriefing on that.
Sounds good.
Well, I enjoyed teaching the lesson. I think the students enjoyed it, and I think I managed to hit the three standards at various times, which I think I showed in my lesson plans, and a little bit of the editing in the video I showed where that was going to happen. Standard one is learner development, and I think I hit that by scaffolding vocabulary at the beginning of the lesson. And lesson two, which is learner differences, I achieved that by sitting different students who are at different higher and lower levels of achievement together in groups, and introducing the idea of troubleshooting as a core concept of our ICT classes, and helping each other work together. Did you have any? What did you think about that?
Well, first off, it wasn't clear to me that you had grouped the students, as you say,
Right.
with
Okay.
maybe EAL students. But I thought that's great. Yeah, I thought that you did a good job of understanding how students develop and how they communicate their ideas in a classroom, and how it can be a scary experience for a lot of them at that age, some of them. So when students were giving their comments, you weren't dismissive or anything. You just kind of tried to help build on what they were saying, and getting more interaction from other students to kind of build on those concepts for their understanding of it. So I thought that went well. And yeah, in terms of for those students who maybe don't speak English as well, or different cultures. Did you want me to talk about the standard two as well?
Standard two was that was one that we just discussed there. I think that's learning differences, where they sit or have them
right.
sitting different areas, and using this troubleshooting idea where they're going to help each other learn. Standard one was more when I was teaching the vocabulary at the beginning of the lesson, because I think that hit really with, as you said, the EAL students. And there was a student in the class who was being diagnosed with dyslexia, so I always go over after I've done something like that, or put vocabulary up and just check with him to make sure that he's understood the concepts, and he's up to speed on this with my subject. We've covered this a couple of times before, so it worked well, I thought. So the standard three is learning environments. I thought I hit that standard by having the students lead a discussion amongst themselves about what activities they wanted to start with, and why they wanted to start with them, what they thought was interesting. And I thought that was kind of empowering and fun for them. And I thought also that just the concept of avatars is something that's so in their world. You know, they live on social media, and spend a lot of time on it, at least. And also gaming culture, even if you don't game yourself as a young person, it's just so full of like the language they use with each other. So they live in that world. So I thought it was a good lesson from that way. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, and I thought it was a very good topic to cover with them, because they've obviously heard of the concept of avatar, and they had to sort of unpack that, or you help them unpack that whole concept. And what is it for? And you check their understanding of that by, why do we make them? What's the purpose of them? So they understand really, why are we doing this? You know, the sort of intent of the lesson. And I thought it was good that you had the troubleshooting as a group, because I think as a teacher, you don't really have the resources and time to answer every question, and it becomes if you were to do that, it would become a very boring situation for some students who are much, maybe catching on more quickly. So I thought it was good to utilize the students who really grasped it to help the others.
I think it's a useful tool to involve them all. Really, it's good. Did you have other comments you wanted to make, or anything else you wanted to say before we finish?
I thought there was a lot of good things going on in the lesson. I think you set a really good tone with the students. You were very consistent in the norms and expectations for the students. So I think like your approach and your sort of how you unpacked the lesson, I thought was well done. one of the things that an area maybe for growth would
Mm-hmm.
be, and I do this myself often, is that, or one of the areas that I could also grow in as a teacher is many times when we're looking to see if the students have grasped what we're talking about, we rely on kids who raise their hands to speak,
Right.
and and many times they have very good comments, but one of the problems could possibly be that they tend to dominate the lessons, and those are the kids who are always talking, and the kids who may have good, good things to contribute, but are shy or maybe don't feel confident with the language, are sitting there kind of withholding,
Mm.
holding back. And so I think even though I saw some great things in your lesson, I made some more comments in your evaluation too.
Mm-hmm.
Ways of getting, and I know that you're doing some of these things already because I've seen you doing it with the random name picker and things like that to get students who aren't the vocal ones
Mm-hmm.
to respond.
That's a really good point. I think that is something I struggle with, especially since I have so many classes to teach and so many students. It can be, I have a class list, but I can't always think in the moment which face goes with which name. And I find it, it's something something I really need to work on. So I think that's a very good point. Definitely. And I
It
think
is difficult.
yeah, the random picker might be a way to do it. It's a little bit clunky to introduce it in every lesson, but some idea like that.
Mm.
I know that my instructor for this module came up with a great idea of maybe something physical like uh,
Ah.
a popsicle stick or something like that. So each
Mm-hmm.
kid can show that they've, okay, you've already contributed, so you put that away or something like that. Just so we can just try and get every student to have their voice heard, because it is all too easy
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to get a lesson going and to go with the students are going to come up with the right answers. It's kind of and go back to the well over and over again. But that's a very good point. Thanks for bringing that up.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time today, and I look
You're
forward to
welcome.
our next debriefing session.